actually interesting. The foundation of Sora, like the original idea was not to be online, but to get that critical mass, the co-founders, Garrett, Indra, and Wesley, we refer to them as Grinsley internally. Students came up with that name. And they originally started in Atlanta in like Starbucks. They would host little classes with anyone who would lend their high school student to show up and experiment. And they had some ideas around co-learning spaces, like co-working spaces. And then eventually it just became clear that to really scale this, there was a lot more flexibility if we could get students from all over the country instead of just limiting it to the zip code. And we found that to be just a huge win, honestly, because when we ask students, we have them grouped in houses. It's sort of like their homeroom, but it's fun. It's like Harry Potter. They're all sorted by a secret algorithm. And we ask them, would you rather be with students in your time zone? So like West Coast students would have their stand up in the morning at a later time, or by interest. And students really want to be grouped by like-minded students. And it's interesting to think that our whole system is predicated on this zip code, basically, like people in our area. And I think about this with mentors or teachers too. Like students have so many niche, interesting passions, and the people in their neighborhood might not necessarily have those interests, but at the scale of the internet, there's certainly someone on Twitter or on some of these other platforms that would really be interested in giving that sort of feedback in a way that someone, you know, in your neighborhood might not necessarily be able to provide. So I think that gives us a big opportunity, but we are definitely looking into, now that we have that mass in certain areas, what does a hybrid or a co-learning experience look like? So we have some interesting experiments coming that could look at, you know, what does makerspace or club meetups, having some of that in-person connection a couple days a week look like, now that we've sort of got that community aspect big enough in a couple key areas.